Another thing leads to the other thing. It only take one moment to make you realize creme keep the vibes bubbling. Yeah, a creme de la creme, the cream of the crop.
Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining. Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining over on Trent. Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining over on Trent. Wake up, Belize. The voice of my people will be heard over on
So when you wake up in the morning getting ready for your work, give thanks to Jah because you know where life works. Some sit down in the office, some hand in the dirt. Wake up and smell the coffee. You got to be early like a bird to catch the most worm. Mouth off your feet and money off your turn. Teach off your teacher, make the picnic them learn. Even the newspaper boy works hard for what he earn.
Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining. Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining over on Trent. Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining over on Trent. Over on Trent. Wake up, Belize. The voice of my people will be heard over
When me come to bust out the truth like a river, a true reality me come to deliver. Freedom, equal rights and justice for all. United we stand, divided we fall. We face trials and tribulation, so we have to make a betterment in our nation. Emancipate from mental separation. Rise my people into liberation.
Sing it, nine, 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 eh, wake up, sing it, nine, 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 oh.
It's Tuesday morning, WUB time, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Tuesday the 28th of November 2017. Are you ready? We hope you are. Ready, set, go. It's WUB time, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Log on until 9 this morning. I'm your host, Mosad. We want to welcome you all, everybody where they listen, everybody where they watch, everybody online, and those getting us via simulcast coverage. Yeah! All right. Once again, we'll link inside Belize's premier morning conversation. But before we get down to the business of the conversation, we've got to serve you with the preliminary package. We've got your news right here. That's getting ready, of course, by the news center here at Krem. We've got the weather update, and that's provided by the National Meteorological Service. And we got a little music to put your morning off on a good start. So we hope you have health and strength. We hope you have great vibrations. And we hope you have a lot of time and a lot to say. That's what we do. Get up, wake up, feel the vibes. Belize, put some music in your morning. JCR Valentine, carry on. Belize, guess what? We look at the weather forecast for today, and according to the National Meteorological Service, it's fair and cool, and fair and cool conditions will persist across the country. The 24 forecast is for sunny today, partly cloudy tonight with little or no rainfall. Winds will be northerly to northwesterly at 5 to 10 knots with light choppy seas. As for temperatures, highs along the coast of 84 degrees Fahrenheit or 29 degrees Celsius with an overnight low of 71 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius. Inland, a high today of 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius with an overnight low of 63 degrees Fahrenheit or 17 degrees Celsius. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for light isolated showers to develop. Looking at the tide readings, a low tide today at 11:46 this morning will be followed by a high tide at 5:46 this evening. A low tide reoccurs at 12:28 early Wednesday morning, and then a high at 6:13 tomorrow morning. And that is your general weather forecast. Now, we've got your morning news update.
The first private radio station in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Earlier this month, we told you that the police department is investigating an allegation of rape against cops assigned to Independence by two Hispanic women, one a Belizean and the other a Salvadoran. Yesterday we were told that the file will be forwarded to the DPP shortly.
As we mentioned, that file is being dealt by the Professional Standard Branch. As soon as they complete their investigation and everything, they will let you know what is the stance with the police department in regards to that alleged rape.
And additional to that, remember it was likewise sent to the office of the DPP.
Okay,
so they will be giving, well, that was the last update we got, sending the file to the office of the DPP, and they'll be giving directives on how to move henceforth.
I think the correct statement is to say that the file will be sent, because I don't want you all to call the DPP after you leave here and she said I have no file. The procedure is the file will be sent to the DPP for a directive.
Clinton Arthur Davis, a 53-year-old father of four, was found dead on his property at Mile 4 on the George Price Highway next to Old Belize on Friday. Davis was last seen on Tuesday, and since then his family had been searching for him. They discovered his body at midday on Friday in a nearby swamp. Police believe his death was a result of a sibling rivalry over land. Here is ACP Alejandro Coa.
Reference the alleged murder of Mr. Davis, which occurred on Friday, somewhere in Old Belize. So far, police have detained several persons in regards to that investigation. One was recently detained this morning, and he is being questioned in regards as to some information that we have received that might lead to clarify what happened actually on that date, no? What happened, Mr. Davis was not reported. He left from himself on Tuesday, and nobody had seen him until his body was found on Friday, no? It was almost 3 days that he had left his house, and nobody knew his whereabouts, and nobody reported about him any missing or anything like him until he was found on that date, no? So far, as I mentioned, 3 persons have been detained. One was recently detained this morning, and he has been questioned in regards to that alleged murder. Yes, sometime of about 9 p.m., police received an information that there was a body somewhere on the highway by Old Belize. CIB personnel and the other specialized unit went to the area. They made checks in the area, however, no one was found there at the time. We managed to call the person that gave us the information, and we spoke to him, and we searched the area, but however, we did not locate anybody there on that date.
Is his brother a suspect?
Well, he was detained on the same date on Friday. He was questioned, and he had to be released because we have no direct evidence to link anything to him so far, no? Yes, it is something that we believe that is a land dispute. One of the brothers had made a complaint about 2 months ago he was sent direct from the Lands Department to the Police Department so they can follow up some kind of bad deals at the Lands Department, and we were following it up from there.
On Sunday, police in the north visited a cornfield in the Hillbank area of the Orange Walk district. There they discovered an airplane that had been destroyed by fire. It is believed that the plane may have been used to transport illicit cargo. ASP Alejandro Coa has the details.
Orange Walk police received information of a plane somewhere in the Hillbank area. As a result, police and BDF personnel proceeded to the Hillbank area where they observed in a cornfield an aircraft to be completely destroyed by fire. No?
Was there any signs of illicit activity or any reports that illicit activity had been seen in or around the plane?
So far, we don't have that information that anything was seen illegal in the area. The only information that the police received about this plane in that area, hence the reason they proceeded there and they found the plane completely destroyed by fire.
Okay, are you able to say the type of plane?
No, I am not aware of the type of the plane at this moment.
And then as regards the location, I understand it's fairly near the Mexico border. Was it a illegal landing area or what?
It is suspected illegal. It is in a cornfield, so it has to be illegal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe, specified. Was it a landing strip or was it that then just land on, or was a little landing area?
They just land on the plain cornfield.
Okay, on the plain cornfield. Okay, so it wasn't what they call an unauthorized airstrip per se.
The anniversary of the signing of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption is drawing near. According to the government, the country is well on its way to implementing the necessary legislation to allow the document to come to life. PUP leader, deputy leader, Julius Espat spoke to us about that.
I think they're playing a game to be able to drag it on as long as they can by making every possible excuse on the books, and not to be able to pass legislation to have the UNCAP function. Guatemala is a clear example where the UNCAP has functioned to a certain extent, and it's also a clear example as how it can stagnate and derail an economy if you look at it. So we have to be careful as to what is being done, but there are things that we have to fix in how we govern in this country. One, the total power given to the Prime Minister. We have seen from 1981 where that has created serious problems for us. You cannot have a Prime Minister with total power. Two, the laws that have that everything at the end of it has to be at the discretion of a minister. That again, as you have seen in the inquiries with the Senate, how that can be problematic. Three, every system that you have when it pertains to check and balances, you only have it on paper. It is a theory, but you're not having it done in reality. And I can explain to you, the Public Accounts Committee, as I have said, the Integrity Commission that I have said, the independence of your judiciary, the independence of your Auditor General, the functioning role of your Accountant General, all these things are instrumental in making sure that we can move our economy forward. And so the UNCAC is something I believe is possible, but I don't think it will eventually happen because this present government does not have any interest in having it done.
And that brings us to the end of the morning news update here inside the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We've got more news on Creme Radio throughout the day, of course. It all begins at 9 with the morning stew, which is going to be frequented by Creme's news center with updates. Then that goes until 1. There's a news brief at 3 p.m. and a full newscast at 5:15 p.m. on Creme Radio. Then Creme Television has its newscast at 6 p.m. We're going to take ourselves a small break. Then when we come back, crank the conversation, people.
Informative, accurate, current information. Creme's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
Live from the Battlefield Park on Creme Television and simulcasted on Creme Radio. It's Creme Christmas, starting December 11th to the 17th, weeknights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hosted by Rajani Perriott and Anthony the Groove Master. Live entertainment by Belize's best. Enough giveaways and surprises for the entire family. Be a part of our live audiences to win fabulous prizes. Nightly complimentary mixed drinks for the adults from Travelers Bar. Creme Christmas, December 11th to the 17th from the Battlefield Park.
11 Days. A documentary that tells the story of the Belize National Teachers Union historic strike in 2016. And it is now available. Where can you get it? Well, BNTU headquarters, Creme Television, or from regional branches of the BNTU. 11 Days captures the events and the personalities that closed down the classrooms of Belize for 11 days in October 2016. A moment in history, and it's captured right here in our 15-minute long documentary. It recounts Belize's most powerful union confronting the government of Belize with 8 demands, and you need to get your copy. 11 days. Make sure.
All right, seconds away from 7 o'clock. Welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Tuesday morning, 28th November 2017. Mozart is in the house. And as a surprise to no one, after proclaiming that he would be quiet for a while because of budgetary constraints, Mr. Torres is right back this morning, lined up to jump on the airwaves. Mr. Torres, obviously maybe you've found somebody who has donated to your cause, or as JC say, you've decided to give up chicken until you get back your means of income. You don't have a lot of time this morning because I have from the opening gong, I have guests on the show. So, so do your thing.
Yes.
Good morning, and what you got on? What you got up this morning? No campaigning.
No campaigning, brother.
Yes, sir.
No. You say when you committed, when you committed your, I would have said, or when public posing, you must remain your course regardless of obstacles, because you expect from a leader to lead.
You're campaigning.
No,
if I was your opponent, I would use this as an example of your inconsistency. You say one thing, you do the next thing. I would have make a whole commercial about it. So please carry on with your main topic and avoid the campaigning, please.
All right. You said two things, short and brief. Well,
short and brief. Then there are dangerous words for you. That means 20 to 25 minutes.
Oh no. No. 5 minutes.
Okay.
3, 2. You say concerning the 90 million by the highest court of all courts we subjected to or dominated by, no?
Yeah.
We know already has made the ruling by the most, and we have been bleeding nations' coffers with no remorse, with no regret at all to a needed society. You see, I say no. If the Belize Bank committed fraud, then you take the bank to court. But in the meantime, to avoid worsening legal repercussions, you see, as it is, you have to pay. As it is not who was wrong, or who, because of circumstances, Brother Mose became reluctant to honor the suspected fraudulent transaction that gave birth to the 90 million. You see, nation state legally bound to reduce its figures from its treasury. You see, Brother Mose, and talking about brace up, I feel, I may have said that we have to brace up all the day to election day, no? Sorry, by Xing them out. Oh, that are campaigning.
Have yourself a good Tuesday, Mr. Torres. Thanks for the call. All right, tomorrow morning, you're on the right here?
Of course.
Good man.
Thanks, Brother Mood.
Respect. I got up this morning and I'm walking up the stairs, and it hit me that, my goodness, I'm actually going to be talking football this morning. Like I knocked my head and said, what's wrong with you, Mr. Man? How the heck you get yourself in at this morning? I mean, no offense to my guests. It's really not the most attractive or appealing conversation for me. It's like starting off with sour golden plum or something really sour. Make your whole face and your whole jaw, everything just lock in. That's football for me. I think the most sour thing you could imagine, like raw tambran or something. Mixing a lemon juice. That's what talking football does for my whole face, much as my vibes. But you know what? Sometimes you have to take your castor oil, no? So that's what we're going to do this morning. These gentlemen asked for some time on the show. They are aspirants for leadership of football, Belize football, and they say they are fresh air. So they want to talk to you. We'll hear them out. We have in the house Mr. Daniel Fabro and Mr. Frank Shop. They're here to talk to us about their candidacy to take over football. And generally, we're actually going to have a bit of a football conversation for the first half of the show. That's what we have. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mose. Morning, Belize.
All right. I know it's not the most pleasant introduction that you've ever received, but I had to. So now, what happened to what explanation you got for phone yourself for why you decided you don't want to do this? I mean, I basically say I don't know why I did do it, even the target, but it's for Uno more serious. Uno actually have ambitions take over football.
Well, I think you share the general sentiment of the public
Mm-hmm.
and how they feel about football. I think Daniel and I hope to change that perception and make everybody excited and want to talk about football. So that's why we're here.
Daniel?
It's along that same line was sometimes I think, just like when you were thinking walking up the step, and I've been thinking before and during and even recently. Frank just came back yesterday, and that's the first thing we spoke about is am I crazy also to be trying to make a difference, and I feel a lot like the general public. Sometimes you feel like giving up and just moving on. But right now I'm involved with youths and youth football, and when you see their potential and you see their faces and their joy, for them, I think we the adults who can make a difference have to step forth and try to do what's right by football. Although we know we're fighting a very difficult and uphill battle. A battle that many have told us from before we started, and they keep reminding us every day that it is an impossible task. But I say if we don't try, we will never know.
Yeah, impossible is accurate. I don't get the sense. It's a rough landscape to come out of left field and try to take football because the process is so controlled. And I said I don't understand the strategy behind coming on the show this morning, because you'll be talking to the public, but the public doesn't vote. Not even the footballers vote. It is a very controlled process. For me, it's the beginning of the flaw. It's the beginning of the whole problem with football. It's not democratic. Too few people have a say. But somehow you feel, how do you hope to achieve some advantage by coming to the public when I think it's about 20 people who are going to decide who runs football?
Yeah, you are perfectly right. For ourselves, we are hoping that we will change how elections in sporting organizations will be run henceforth.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time an election has gone public. Mm-hmm. We were even threatened by third parties that you shouldn't campaign because public campaigning is against the statutes, and we pointed out to them that nothing in the statute says that you cannot campaign publicly. We're hoping that this will open doors for others, good people to follow, maybe not only in football but in other sports. We know I noticed on Facebook there's a young man offering himself right now for the presidency of the Cycling Association, and that is a good thing. I think we have to involve more people. Public has to talk and put pressure on these 20 delegates. I think definitely the football family and the general public must have a say in how their leaders are chosen. Frank and I, we know we're playing on a very uneven playing field, very much so. But we're going to give it our best shot, and hopefully we will have exposed the entire process to the Belizean public of how very, as you put it, undemocratic it is, and maybe that will force some changes of how it is done. Maybe not this election, but maybe in elections in the future.
Okay. So you, is almost a sacrificial aspect to this process for you guys?
Well, we hope not only sacrificial, but there is that possibility, and we have to face that reality. But we genuinely want to see the excitement back in the stadiums. Today we have, a semi-final match with, I think one club sold 17 tickets for a match. And we really think that between us, we can help to create that excitement again. We need to get fans back in the stadiums. Today we have nicer stadiums, better seating. Yet when I played a long time ago, we had 3,000-4,000 people at a match standing. And what happened to that? Why is there no
And it was
more?
even better before you.
Yes, and better before, and so it has progressively declined over the years, and now we have a situation where Mundialito and the First Division leagues have better turnouts than we have for Premier League games, which is a really sad state of affairs.
Theoretically, these 20 representatives that will choose the leadership of the FFB, if there is any semblance of democracy in this process, they should be guided by their respective membership. They should be having meetings to basically be informed what the people who they are representing want. Is there any is there any just some hypocrisy? Are they even purporting some form of inclusion in this whole electoral process?
I would say very, very little.
I didn't make for the morning worse, right?
No. I think these things have to be aired out. I think these have to be spoken, and the public must know. I think in our meetings, only one association, district association, invited some of their General Assembly. One of them, and of that, two of the members showed up, and one left shortly thereafter. And that's about the participation which the General Assembly have in the meetings.
Have you been allowed to meet with the 20?
Well, that's another thing. We have met with most of them, but we have some district representatives for different factions even refusing to meet with us. Which refusing, yes. We have tried maybe up to 5 times. We have set different meetings. And
who are these? I mean, that amongst to. There's a decency that you have to have, at least superficially.
Well,
if you have people vying for the post of running football, and you are one of the persons that is so fortunate, chosen by the football family of your region to be a voter, you have an obligation to be courteous to those who are vying for these positions, and at least on the face of it seem to be willing to hear them out. You cannot be refused. That is
it's like we've been saying to them, we're not asking you to vote. We're just asking.
They don't even want to hear.
We're just asking to hear what we have to offer, and see if you want to make a decision. But the other thing for us going public as well, Moses, is that we're trying to get people, the football family, to realize that they need to get involved with their associations. They exist, but they don't, like a lot of other things in our country, they don't get involved, and they don't say, listen, gentlemen, we are the members of this association, we want you to be going in this direction. They just sit back and allow their associations to operate on their own.
See, Mose, I agree with you that they should meet. Maybe in future elections, the FFB has to make it mandatory that they listen to all the candidates at least at some point, and then henceforth they can make their decisions. But even when we do meet with them, sometimes, as you put it earlier, it's like maybe they just put in a semblance of trying to be democratic. This last week, Saturday, the PLB, we had met with them the week before. We made our presentations. We thought we made a strong presentation. As a matter of fact, we were told by owners and executives that our presentation was very strong. But then this last Saturday that went, they were supposed to meet to decide who they would support. Only 3 teams, from what we heard, we were informed, only 3 teams showed up on time. 1 showed up an hour late, which makes it, they didn't even have a quorum, yet they supposedly decided that, supposedly the executive either called or were called by the missing owners and told who to vote for, which is contrary to the FFB statutes. The FFB statute does not allow for voting by proxy. And it's just coincidental that the meeting was held in Belmopan, but the two of the 4 teams that were missing are Belmopan based. So you wonder, you know, these things were, for me, looking from outside, they were orchestrated. And so that's what Frank and I talk about when we're not playing on a level playing field. These things are already set in place, and we're hoping that even the people who represent the PLB will, because we know that some of them are people who also want something different, but they seem to be that it's like a guided democracy by the people who lead them, and some of them want a change, but I am hoping that they will be brave enough and that they will do the right thing and seek a change.
Let me say this, and maybe I should have started the show off because saying this. When I saw that you guys presented yourselves, I'm not here to say that I know that you guys are the salvation and will be saviors. I don't know that. Right. I'm more familiar with Mr. Fabro. I've seen him around, he was around basketball. I see him doing his work in football. I saw you as a player, Mr. Sharp. As a boy, I used to go and watch him. And you were a pretty good midfielder. I can imagine that you must have a love for the sport.
I certainly do.
You played it. You must have a love for it. And I think with the kind of commitment that you've provided, I would say Mr. Fabro has a love for the sport. I imagine there are some who have served already in the FFB who started out with a love for the sport. They are not heathens, at least not all of them. They must have had some love for the sport while they were around it, some passion. But the process is rough, no? But when I saw you guys present yourself after the gridlock that has existed and knowing basically like, okay, how much Mission Impossible movies you got? You got about 3, I think? I think you got Mission Impossible 1, Mission Impossible 2, you got Mission Impossible 3, maybe you have Mission Impossible 4. But if you have 4 of those movies that come out already now, this is Mission Impossible 5. And for me, I guess, you know, we always go on the other the kind of person where I ride with the underdogs. I don't ride the Golden State Warriors. That's not me. I ride with the underdog. So there's a natural sentiment I say, well, them Balea, they know they think right. Then they walk, we go get one lashing. I had to respect it. Because it takes courage to decide that you going against the odds. That takes courage. And to know that unless something go completely unexpected, you know, again banging. For no candidate sit on an iron balloon. The phrase from a song from DeMarco is, you know, think of the iron balloon, and I love it because everybody know an iron balloon can't blow. I think that a phone candidate is sorry. But out of the candidacy coming upon the show this morning, I totally agree that for Uno courage cannot go unnoticed. What you guys are saying and the ideas that you're putting forward cannot go unheard, cannot be left to just be, well, we're not too fool, we want to know, we don't know the thing. No, I think football family has to ask itself, why is it a case that you two, Mr. Fabro's and Mr. Sharp's candidacy has no chance at all? Why does it have no chance? It should not be that I am so confident in, and I'm sorry, maybe there is some optimism still in you guys, but I have to be real. It's really wishful thinking right now if you are optimistic about Mr. Fabro's and Mr. Sharp's chance. And the question has to be asked for all those who in football, why should anybody that put themselves up to be involved to lead football and prepare a plan and they're discussing ideas and presenting ideas, why should they stand zero chance of being considered by the people who will vote? That, to my mind, is crazy. And that, to my mind, is where the problem lies. That a positive energy cannot come into football. Let us be honest, and I will just, you really come provoke me, because the reality is that change only happened in the FFB because a political force brought resources like a campaign to back a candidacy, and that's how change was achieved. We know this, that's how it happened. So how the process is completely flawed, completely failing football as a sport, and we are watching it on life support. That's what we are looking at, and the patient is on life support, and a new doctor comes with a bag of medicine and cannot get into the room. So something must be wrong. I am not here to say I know what Mr. Chuck candidacy presidency would be. I know I saw what Mr. Quillen, who was once in it, what he wrote. I think it was extremely courageous of him to say, listen, this is a situation, it is a complete mess. And his contribution to the public discourse came and went as if though it was nothing, but for those of us who know, we have to respect it. I know they have to try killing the vibes, Mr. Sharp and Mr. Fabro. I would have hoped that the fact that you two gentlemen are willing to put on yourself out like this, that most serious people really look at it. I do agree and say, this, we're not going no way, and more, and what this structural failure does, it punishes those little boys and little girls who, unlike me, were gifted with the genes of athletic prowess, who are born to ballet on football fields and play the chess on the grass, the beautiful game, who have speed and strength and balance and coordination and vision, and whose future should be bright, who should be balleting across fields in Latin America, and the real exceptional ones to even higher places. We could probably watch them in MLS games and maybe even on a grander stages. But if we have this present construction, it will never happen, and it is their dreams that we are killing. Yes, I know there's a lot of things going on this morning. We could talk about 90 million, we could talk about UDP, PUP, so many big things going on in the country. But the rot in football is as big a conversation, because we are talking about lives, we are talking about young lives, young aspirations, young dreams, and we are killing them because of just the contamination, the contaminated structure of football right now. It is. And so we would hope that more people would care. More people who are on the sidelines, not saying a thing, they don't care. They have to care. They have to look on you and Mr. Sharp and say, imagine,
Mr. Stamp,
Mr. Stamp and Mr. Sharp.
Yeah, one time.
Hold on, any problem?
Yes.
One slight dispute. It was resolved, I understand.
Yes.
But the reality is, whoa, man. You must be looking at these two gentlemen and say, you know, these are successful men in the community, yet even as successful men, they now wishful thinking campaign. We got a problem. And more people in Belize have to care. more people in Belize have to be invested in solving this situation that exists in football. WUB, good morning.
Good morning, Moose. Good morning. This is Glenn Tillis. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Moose. How are you?
Who is this?
Glenn Tillis.
Oh, Glenn, how are you doing, my brother?
I've been better. Moose, I call in because I want to support Danny and Frank's candidacy. I also want to lend myself to the remarks you just made concerning football and its development in Belize. I think it's important to our social and political economy to understand that several things are at stake here. I think we have to understand that the conduct and the governance of all our institutions, not just the government per se, but even these small social institutions such as football, that their good governance and good conduct is what makes our society better. It's what makes us better. Football is a part of our DNA. It's a part of yours. It's a part of mine. You and I spend many hours and a lot of time and effort trying to make this beautiful game so much better, so much a better part of our lives and part of our social, economic, and political institutions. I think also Belizeans have to understand that the golden goose, the money that FIFA gives us every year, is like the golden goose. We have spent literally millions of FIFA's money over the last 20 years, and we have little to show for it. That cannot continue. They will not allow that to continue. And if we don't do something about the stewardship of that money, pay attention to our fiduciary duty where that money is concerned, and of course, understand our duty and responsibility to our future generations, we're going to lose it. And with all the other talk about tens of millions and hundreds of millions, it may seem a small amount of money, but it's important to all of us. We can't continue. The situation we have in football, where a very small group of people go and decide on the future of the game in that way, and in a manner that they are not responsible to all of us who contribute to it, cannot be allowed to continue. I support Danny and Frank because, unlike the other candidates I've heard, they don't have promises, they have plans. And we, as a society, for the last couple of decades, have had a reflex for voting for people who have promises and live by way of concrete, examinable, practical, pragmatic, doable plans. And it's unfortunate that we have another election with another social institution where we see promises taking the day rather than the consideration of pragmatic plans that can actually make what we are doing so much better. Thanks, Moses.
Well put, Glenn. Thanks very much for that contribution. It is 28 minutes after 7 o'clock, and after this time check, I believe that we owe these two gentlemen an opportunity to present their plans to the nation. And we hope that you all stick around and listen and participate in this conversation. It's again 29 minutes after 7 o'clock, and this time check is brought to you by Grace Kennedy, Belize Limited.
From the company who brought you Buendia freeze-dried coffee, Grace 100% pure Colombian coffee is made in Colombia, considered among the finest coffee regions around the world. Naturally freeze-dried, Grace 100% pure Colombian coffee is exposed to less heat than other coffee brands to preserve the flavor and aroma to make the perfectly convenient cup of coffee you deserve. Have a buenos dias with Grace.
Quality nutrition from generation to generation.
Bringing good taste to life.
7:31. Welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. From the opening gong, we've been joined by aspirants for leadership of Belize football, Mr. Daniel Fabro, Mr. Frank Sharp. I actually call him on stump. Could you believe that? The brain is a funny thing, right?
No, I tell you.
Association. Gentlemen, before the break, we got a call supporting your candidacy and spoke about the fact that you have presented a plan. And for those who have not heard or seen any elements of that plan, could you just give us a quick synopsis and some of the highlights of that plan?
Most, we have to apologize for not bringing the plans which we...
Well, I may have I would have to take the responsibility for that because I have you guys from a short leash because I thought we would have Money Tuesdays, but we will not be having it because Mr. Irvin Purse is not available. So you guys thought, well, again, 15 minutes and that was it. Well, in a luck, as they say, we get more than that.
We appreciate that.
I don't know if it's good luck or bad luck.
I don't know,
we
but
take the luck anyway. Most, we have our vision plan. It is a 10-year plan. You had mentioned it. Football, I think it's obvious to everybody, is on life support, and football needs, I think, a complete revamping and a different way of doing things. There are huge divisions in football, even within those 20 delegates. There's a division between the league, division between the district associations. Our number one, we have a 12-point plan, and each one of the points has different subsets. But the first one on our plan is to try our best to unite the football family into one cohesive group with a common goal. That sounds really nice, but that will be a very, very difficult job. But I think we have to make an effort to do so. Frank and I, being quotation mark outsiders, I think are the candidates who have the best chance of uniting the football family. Because if the other candidates, you have one candidate wins, the other faction will not work. And if the other one wins, the opposite faction will not work.
Unfortunately.
Yes, and that is unfortunate, but that is the reality. Frank and I coming in, I think, would offer a chance for the football family to heal. When we meet with the delegates and the district associations, one of the things we say to them is that we commit ourselves that within 30 days of being elected, we intend to have a retreat where the football family would sit down and throw around ideas and chart our way forward. I think I have a lot of ideas, Frank has a lot of ideas, and the people on the ground have a lot of ideas. Let's put it all together and pick the best out of it and try to chart our way forward.
When you were here, when you brought the youths who had traveled to Colorado or Arizona,
they went to Colorado Springs, but since then, 4 more went to Arizona.
Okay. You lamented the proportion of the monies that we get that is being allocated for development. I think if I recall correctly, that's one of the concerns or one of the failures that was pointed out in a letter that was written by Mr. Quillen, that a lot of the money is being consumed by salaries. It's not going to development. What is your candidacy's view of how the FIFA money should be allocated, and what would be your emphasis on development?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because I don't think we've gotten millions of dollars, as Glenn mentioned, over the years, and we don't have any results, positive results after. I don't think the funding is the end all to getting good football. There was a time 20, 30 years ago, our football was really good and we got no money from nobody. All it took was the passion, organizing, getting everybody involved and making football better. But now,
a very strong grassroots.
Everybody was involved. Everybody, I mean, the mothers, the fathers, the brother of the player on the team, everybody was involved, and football was extremely good without receiving a penny from anybody. Today we're getting millions, and I think the numbers, we are not on the inside, but the numbers we're hearing, about 70% of that budget is spent on administration. And my question is, what are we administering? Because we should be developing youth football, and so we have to find a way to, as Daniel said, either raise more money to get that percentage down, or turn it around and we spend less money on administration and put more into development of football. But there has to be a plan. You can't just take the money and say we're spending and spending and spending, and there's no ulterior goals that we set to achieve. If we don't do that, we're not going to be successful. No matter if we get $100 million a year, it's not going to make a difference.
Mose, if I may say along that line, what Mr. Quillen wrote in that thing is just the tip of the iceberg of what is plaguing football. At some point, I think the public must be brought up to speed of really how deep the rat goes. And I don't know if this is the time and the place, but talking about Frank's thing, we know that 70% of the budget going on administrative salaries is unsustainable. It would put any business into bankruptcy. So we have to look at how we reduce that. But the truth is that 1.5 million which we get from FIFA right now, and I think it's supposed to increase over the next 4 years, is not nearly enough for what we need to get done in Belize. We have to raise significant more funds, I think, both locally and more importantly, we have to go internationally to see how we can secure other funding for the development we need in Belize. The development starts, as what Frank said, with the youth. And the youth development starts with coaching. And I've said before, I have looked at the strategic plan, and for the most part, we support it. We would like to move some funds from one line item to the other line item. And one of the line items we firmly believe we would put more monies into, significantly more monies to, is into coaching. We have to increase our qualified and certified coaches, I would say, by at least tenfold within the next 5 years, if not more, because that is where the training for the kids start, with the coaches. And we need to have our people certified also to eventually take over the national team. You know, we talking about the position of maybe even a technical director, which has been mentioned by other people. Those positions, I think, in the long term, must be filled by Belizeans, because to have a foreigner come in, and which is nice, but they are really to train our people so that our people get that knowledge and then in turn pass it out, because at some point that foreigner will return to his country. You know, and so all that training and knowledge will be gone with him.
The first, quote unquote, first world countries and these huge football powers, a lot of the development is shouldered by the professional teams. So a lot of development can come when the professional model is worked out. They are the ones who invest in the colleges, as big teams. That's what they do. They have a heavy motivation to make sure that there is a steady supply of well-developed
new
talent. So that's what they do. And if they are able to develop a talent through their system, and it's not just developing the talent to play on their team, but somebody else might want that talent. Maybe a team in Honduras, a team in Mexico might want that talent. They have to pay for that talent, and the monies that they get from selling that talent is then used to develop more talent. So this is what is working other places. Yes, the concept of committing finance to development is critical because of the state of what we have with the professional, semi-professional league. it's not strong enough for these teams to have a great farm system. But I think it has to be considered that one of the prerequisites for having a team in the professional league is that you have teams in the developing divisions as just some way that you can get that model started. Just what I feel is a part of the problem. Now I know for these teams, if you, and we have been involved, we have sponsored and been, we have owned teams in the league, and we know what a financial cost it is to have these teams. So it's very difficult, especially when you're not getting the type of support. At least when we were involved, at least you know if you have a big game or you're in the playoffs, you get a crowd.
Right.
But then during the regular season, you're there, the Bafon Kiangama. But the model that we must have is that we create enough sustainability at that level that they can start to then be rewarded for committing to talent. We started out with in what was then called the B League, a bunch of juniors, bunch of people who would eventually move on to becoming national team members and playing abroad. But there was no process in place for you to figure out, okay, how do you get back returns for what you've put into development? When you do that, when you figure out how to get back returns for development and actually get tax incentives for committing your dollars to this process, then you are incentivizing business people to come to the sport and to put in. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, most the professional clubs now are mandated by CONCACAF and FIFA to have all those things which you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
A youth team, a female team, a junior team, and they have to meet other obligations because FIFA is demanding that we get rid of this team concept and go towards club.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, the clubs struggle from day to day, week to week. So those conditions are almost impossible for 80%, if not all of the clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has to be a partnership with the league and the federation, and by extension the district associations, to help them meet their criteria, which in turn would help Belize meet its obligations.
But as a businessman, you're both businessmen.
Right.
The tax structure needs to incentivize
that is
business involvement in sports.
That is a part of our plan also, is to lobby government to exactly what you said, to encourage people to, and by giving them tax breaks like which used to exist in the past and which is done in most other countries, if not all other countries. We have to have our government revisit that tax regime to make it more attractive for sponsors to get involved. But I was going to say with the semi-pro league also, there has to be things in place. The model of the semi-pro league right now is not working.
Mm-hmm.
They need to rethink how they do things. There must be relegation of some form, I believe. It is phased in maybe over 3 years, 5 years. If it's a direct promotion or it's a playoff promotion, that can be decided at a later date. But also to have in place a B league directly under the semi-pro league. You could call it, since it has been brought up, the Super League. The Super League could be the league right directly below the Premier League, which would serve as the promotion league. And so you have to have things in place. It will take time, and it will take a lot of work and a lot of planning. But the Premier League, as it presently exists, cannot continue, and it is unsustainable.
Your thoughts on transparency and accountability, which are strange terms to FFB. They say, I don't know what language we need to say to them in, but transparency and accountability. Right, Russ?
That's right.
So, what are you?
We think that's what we bring, that's one of the strengths of our team, is that we would bring transparency and accountability. I think our reputation.
So audits would be available to the public?
That would be, this whole process that we're going through with the public, we want to continue. If we can get in, we would continue that process, because we cannot succeed without the public. Football will not succeed without the fans and the general public being involved. Private sector, the regular fan that goes. Without them, there is no football.
What is your message to the football family from Toledo to Corozal right now to the what are they not doing and what do they need to do as we approach these elections, and how should they deal with their representative so as to, if possible, create a revolution in football?
Well, like I said earlier, I think those people, those members really need to get involved and decide how they want what they want their future to look like. And if they want to change, if they're happy with what they have, and I've said this before, we're probably not the best option. If they're looking for a change and they want a new direction and they want football to get better, then I think we're a good option for them.
I say to the district delegates and the PLB delegates, but let me address the district delegates right now, is that football development, specifically youth development, for the most part in Belize presently starts at the district level, and that is where we need to concentrate most of our funds. And I say to them that they will get the funding which they need and which is theirs to help with the development of football, rather than have to go hat in hand to the FFB every time they want a sponsorship for a trophy or for this tournament. They need to have a fixed budget that they would receive every month. Of course, these would come with strings attached that you have to show how the previous month was spent. You have to account for how your monies are being spent, but they would know that they have a regular monthly disbursement to run their programs, and they don't have to be scrambling every month and running to the FFB to receive maybe a 2,000 or 2,500, whatever the case may be. That is theirs. They are the ones who will be in charge of football development. I say to the PLBAM delegates, we are here to work with you all. We are here. I was an owner. I know what an owner goes through. I know the pain they feel and what they need to right the ship. I'm saying is vote for what is right. Vote for future, and not be so short-sighted with promises. I've heard it said that the president would not collect a salary. Listen, the statutes do not call for salary anyway. So that is, for me, that is a moot point, that the president should not be collecting a salary. We've heard that, when you have lots of money, you won't need or steal the FIFA money. I think our big neighbor up north has proved that you're wrong. We're saying to them, listen guys, Frank and I are here to try to work with you all, to try to improve the image of the sport, to try to improve everything around the sport. Be bold, make the change.
If there's no pleasant surprise at the end of this leg of the journey, do you guys then walk away and say, well, we tried and that's it? What's the plan here?
No, well, as you know, Daniel is very involved with youth football, with the Rush program. And we've even talked about, if we're not successful, I might join him and also help him with that program. But we can't, there is so much passion for this sport. We can't just walk away and say, no, we're not going to have anything to do with it.
A lot of people who share both your status, successful people in the community, and I imagine Daniel had to work on you a bit.
It took about 2 weeks, yeah.
It's, you have you're successful, and you're like, why be bothered?
I was happy with where I was.
Why be bothered?
Yeah.
But that hurts us.
Yeah, it does.
The why be bothered mentality is probably as hurtful as those who get in and do wrong, because they encourage the same result, failure. We cannot afford people not to be bothered. It's just we put ourselves in this very bad position. So despite the outlook not looking good for you, do you stay engaged? And do you say to other people of your status, we have to care?
Absolutely. The more people that we get engaged, the better chance of making that change that we need. We all have to stay engaged. We will stay engaged. And if we can get more people realizing that and not allowing us to be on our own, hopefully they get involved and we create that surge that will eventually change the direction that we're headed.
But we need fresh air, man.
More.
We haven't called Daniel, so stick a pin on what you were going to say, and then let us take the call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Yeah, good morning, Moses.
Yes.
Good morning, Frank Daniel.
Good morning, sir. Good
Yeah,
morning.
it's marvelous, huh?
Hi, Marvelous.
Moses, it's been a long time, it's been a long time to call WUB, Moses, but...
We are strangers now, Marvin, but that's how you go. What's going on?
Why, you take me where I leave it, but no problem, I'm still there.
I have one restraining order on football for myself. I just have one temporary relaxation of the terms, but tomorrow I am back, restraining order on myself
my brother,
to keep away from football.
All right, I got you. One of the biggest issue, and I always want to put it out there, and like I've mentioned to Mr. Chook, and I mentioned to Frank and to Daniel. Our biggest challenge has to do with football coming together, right? You hear a lot of flying money all over the place. Most either for the local money. And be honest with you, because without the local money, I probably would have never been in the game anymore. Because everybody seems to want to follow the FIFA money, and forget that we got local investors. We're continuously investing in the game and we get no returns. They just point on that just a while ago. The investment at the league level have been so much over years. Moreover, right now as we speak, the investment at the league level with all the clubs is more money than we are getting from FIFA, you know. But we have to see how better we could find ways through the business enterprises of the league to enable with local investors for staying at the game. And I think we're going to touch on a couple of it a while ago in regards to tax incentive, find better business principles for the league and that kind of stuff. That's my position in regards to how we could make the game grow from a professional standpoint, is that the investment locally, where they go in at the game, we have to strengthen that. And we have to find ways how we could strengthen that. Be it through CONCACAF, be it through FIFA, whatever the case may be. But football have never stopped locally. No matter what, we get suspended, we get back on board, but locally we still spend our money in at the game. How we could start to improve on that are the biggest issue. One of the next greater issue, and Frank and Daniel asked one of this question before when we made it on another channel, no? Is that either win or lose, and just like Mo say, yes, you all are doing an uphill battle. But my question is, what will be done after the elections finish? Will we lose you too? Will we still have you guys around that we could continue to fight for the betterment and interest of the game? Or that, so that's my question I put to you again, just like I did before.
Well, Marvin, let me...
And remember, I can't vote, you know.
No, I understand that.
And this time a public campaign on the Japan, and I think sometimes people may tired of hearing my voice just the trial of for football, no?
Your points are very much appreciated. I think on our last show that we're on, you mentioned about this mature conversation that we need to have about football. I think you hit the nail on the head. That needs to happen. We need to discuss the reality of where we are right now and where we need to go. And I think Daniel and I can help with that process. We also bring the credibility, I think, that is just badly needed to get the private sector back involved with sponsoring and helping with football. As it is right now, I think there's a general feeling that most of the private sector don't really want to put their money into it because they feel that there's chaos and disorganization. And to answer your last point, we definitely, I think my interest has, or my passion has been relit. I think I would like to stay and continue to be involved with football.
But Marvin, I would want, go ahead, you have to answer, Daniel.
Yeah, no, for me, in our analysis within our group, the position I aspire for, which is the president, is the hot seat, which I believe will be much more difficult. I feel that Frank will win his position. No, I don't know, it will be a personal decision to Frank what he does then if he wins, and should I lose. I will still be around football. I have offered my assistance to each president, from Dr. Chimilo to the present one, to assist in any way I can. They have not called me back, and so you cannot help where your help is not wanted. But my love is football, and I will always remain in that. When I was approached to run, there were two big considerations for me, because I know how Belize can be very spiteful and petty. There was two things. I was afraid, I was concerned that should I lose, which is very the likelihood is there, that they might try to undermine my work with Rush Soccer as a punishment. And two, that my son, who is studying abroad, will be punished as a way of getting back to me for defying their power and stuff. So that was two of my concerns. I'm hoping that we're past that we can be mature enough to work together and to move forward together. I don't know what the new leadership will do. I know that I have not gotten any requests, although I have offered from the three previous presidents that have been there since Chimile.
Marvin, I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we've had a pretty good talk show relationship over the years. And so I know when you used to call on ball.
Yes, man, yes.
Yeah. Yes. I have a whole room full of names of people who used to call on ball. We're not calling on ball anymore.
Yeah, well, maybe.
But I can say that when you may get back strong.
Yeah, I still get back strong.
Okay. We all knew at the time, and we still know, that even though if you may have popularity, when they call approval rating for like the President of the United States of America, I like it, the approval rating.
Yeah.
So maybe every 2 or 3 months they have one approval rating of the President. I think Mr. Trump's approval rating is about 34%.
Yeah.
In mid to low 30s.
Very.
If we run one approval rating over the years for incumbents of the FFB, I would say you'd be pretty low.
Yeah.
But approval rating has had no impact on their electoral success. And when we used to have the conversation, then we conceded that a part of the control is made possible because all you need to do that take care of, in this instance, 11 representatives.
Yeah.
It becomes more difficult if the vote is more inclusive, or at least it becomes more expensive at the very least. So, why is there not a huge push for this process to become more inclusive, and why is that not being done at the regional level so that this process becomes democratic, so that we are not here talking with almost this kind of agreed acceptance that that this candidacy is a wishful thinking.
I could share with you, and that's why I say I could always vouch for myself that I still get back wrong on that. But I could share with you, very important, after the election, after Chimilo last, right? After Chimilo last, when we look at the statutes properly, all of we as football people, we realize we have one bigger problem, right? And the point was for us to work hard together as a group and change the statutes to suit what we are going through locally. It was never done. So in that sense, I could say publicly that Ruperto was satisfied with what he inherited for himself, and that's the reason why we're there at this point still. That's my position, Father. Because clearly, the statutes are, and if Daniel and Frank maybe had time over the past few weeks to just breeze through the statutes, you could see one lot of big things where they in the statute, where we always have this problem with it. Until there is two things I always point to. We have to ensure, that we put in a statutes committee immediately after the election was, and we have to ensure that we put in an ethics committee as quick as possible. And their two mechanisms there have to work to make changes in a football.
I agree with you, Marvin, 100%.
You understand? Without the two mechanisms, that means, well, clearly, we can't change the statutes without our statutes committee. And like I pointed out the other day, man, Mr. Winston Michael, Mr. Delhard Courtney, Mr. Nick Pollard, all them people still alive, still could contribute, you know.
Of course.
We even have retired football players as attorneys. We're still at the wrong way to help with. So we could certainly come up with a statute that could be strong and solid for our football, you know. That's one of the biggest problems. And then the ethics committee, which is the law area of the federation, Ruperto have done nothing to ensure that an ethics committee is in place. I think at one point in time there was named, but it was never activated.
I take it because I have had a restraining order on myself, so I don't really know how to go on. But yeah, from listening to you, Marvin, it sounds as if they were going to hasten the race.
Well, Moses, I have never shied away from the fact that my support is Mr. Chow.
Okay, I never know that, Marvin. You can't assume I know, because as I tell you, I really don't pay attention to it because.
And you know why I don't call it WB for football matters? I respect your position, brother.
Because I really try to contain myself because I don't want. Anyway, Marvin, respect, thanks for the call.
No problem.
Yeah, man. And
hear from you, Marvin.
I don't know, gentlemen. I know, I'm plan for go and talk about $90 million after this because that's the biggest thing on here. But you know what is real? The value of the future of the gifted Belizean children is greater than $90 million. And if our associations continue to fail them, it is the equivalent of flushing down $90 million, not come close to flushing down the dreams of our children. Not come close. And the agencies which are supposed to be there to nurture and incubate their dreams and hold their dreams along this journey towards fulfillment are in such a bad state of disrepair. Every association imaginable have feuding as the #1 issue, and that's sickening. So you know what I ask you, gentlemen, because here where they go on. For this morning, we want to take off the restraining order. We're going football, we're going football. We're going home or we want to stay?
We'll stay.
We don't want to stay. Make we take this call and we're going at 2 cents, come take a break, we come back, we want to talk football the whole morning. Tomorrow, $90 million. WUB, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Morning.
Yeah, morning, Mark. But I always state my name.
You don't want to call me after the break, Mark, because I could imagine that you have a lot to say, because you've...
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, so make I go to 2 cents, come with Sister Yaya Marvin Coleman. We're going to take a break, come back. Hopefully we got Father Mark here, line up and make this football conversation. Make we open it up.
Two cents question there, my sister. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want help pay back?
Well, we Belizean people, we don't business to pay that because everybody here in Belize is very poor, so the government business to pay that back, not us Belizean. That's my 2 cents.
2 cents question there, my sister. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want help for payback?
The sad thing about that is that only me will have to pay that, my picnic, my grand picnic, and my great grand picnic. I mean the interest and the time where we have to pay that than right now. You know, so not only me will have to pay it, it was a long-term thing. So that all our picnic, grand picnic.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, my sister. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want have to help pay back?
I'm not quite sure about the $90 million. I have no idea about it.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, my sister. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want have to help pay back?
Well, I would say the government needs to step up and help we poor people more because me have to out there the big donation for me and my daughter because my husband sick and he can't help me, so that alone stupidness.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, my sister. What are your 2 cents about this $90 million where you want help pay back?
Which $90 million?
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, brother. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want help pay back?
$90 million I pay back. I make the devil pay that because I'm there in it.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, brother. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want help pay back?
Well, I'll tell you something. On behalf of me and the people, what I suggest is that we need more transparency and we need more accountability. But one thing I have to say is that the people not fool and God is the only true judge. So watch it.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, brother. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want help pay back?
$90 million? Frick! We broke! I was some, I know they work.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question there, brother. What are your 2 cents about the $90 million where you want help pay back?
Well, you have to help because you chance everything you buy a GST. You spend $20 and you take on $4 out there or $13 you're selling.
Thanks for 2 cents.
Where is Santa off to? To give away $100,000 in prizes from Digicel, of course.
100,000!
RF&G Life Insurance, the life company, invites its clients, friends, and family to our signature Christmas event. Make the Christmas catch you in a good mood on December 8th at the RF&G Life Grounds at number 1 Cody Drive at 5:30 p.m. Come and enjoy an evening of entertainment with Carolyn and the Pandemonium Steel Band. Additionally, various attractions like Ozzy the Clown, the Police Cadets Marching Band, and for the children, including a bouncy house, face painting, and ho ho ho, Santa will be there to spread the Christmas cheer. There will also be a singing competition among various groups along with the RF&G Life Choir. Take advantage of great deals on display by Grace Kennedy, Madisco, and many others. See you and your family at Met the Christmas Catch You in a Good Mood. Number 1 Cody Drive, Belize City, December 8th at 5:30 p.m. See you there. Met the Christmas Catch You in a Good Mood.
Guadalupe Lampala began diving for conch, lobster, and fish at the tender age of 12. Growing up in the southern part of Belize, she knew right away that the sea and its bounty would be her lifeline, providing for her and her family her entire life.
I grew up on the sea and I always used to love the sea. I work with nobody. I would work in the sea, and when I want my money, I know where I could get it.
But the sea's ability to sustain her family and many families like hers is quickly dwindling. As a veteran in the business, Guadalupe has seen firsthand the impact of unsustainable fishing in Belizean waters.
When I'm young, me and my brother, we used to see the fish there by school. They have supper by school. That are same point there. If that time like before, you would see one have fish they play around them flowers. You would see one group of they watch you. All of that they finish. So you have to go further deep. Then the time lot of fish used to there. No one lot of net me there in the country. This the way they deplete the fish in our way.
For Guadalupe, it's important for fisherfolk to be conscious of the role they play in ensuring the health of our fish populations for their own benefit.
We have to do our part. We have to have that desire in our heart and that love for the country and not see everything just go and depleted and finish. All of this affect the sea and they affect because you take out too much. I just want to encourage the fisherman and tell them that they're supposed to try try or be a little bit the land and think it this way. I help my own self because I live off of this, and if my son will do the same work or my daughter, yeah, live off of that. So then we have to try preserve this, no? That we could have it for tomorrow.
Guadalupe Lampala, changing tides, making strides.
"11 Days," a documentary that tells the story of the Belize National Teachers Union historic strike in 2016. And it is now available. Where can you get it? Well, BNTU headquarters, Creme Television, or from regional branches of the BNTU. 11 Days captures the events and the personalities that closed down the classrooms of Belize for 11 days in October 2016. A moment in history, and it's captured right here in our 15-minute long documentary. It recounts Belize's most powerful union confronting the government of Belize with 8 demands, and you need to get your copy. 11 days. Make sure.
Shop at Courts today. Make your Christmas wishes come true. Save up to $400 on selected products. Get a chance to win a Great Raw Wingle 5 pickup truck with every $50 spent on cash or credit purchases. Buy on credit to double your chances. Pay nothing until January 2018. So make your wishes come true only at Courts. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Smart, bringing people together.
When you bank your way, it's amazing how much time you have to enjoy the more important things in life. You have time for priceless moments, time to indulge, time to unwind, time to take in the view, time to make memories. Use any of these services and have time for the things that matter most. Bank your way and enjoy the convenience. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Rhythm of Change Belize Rock presents the second annual Belize International Yoga Festival on Saturday, December 2nd and Sunday, December 3rd, 2017 at Harborview Greens, Fort Street, Belize City. A family affair with 2 days filled with variety of yoga classes, children's yoga, workshops, natural products, and healthy, delicious food for sale. On December 3rd from 7 to 10 p.m., join us at the finale concert featuring the Carifana Collective. With opening act Belize's soul sister, singer and songwriter Stefan Feroza Caetano. We have tickets available for 1 and 2 day yoga passes and the finale concert. Children under 12 enter half price. For more information, ticket outlets, and the full 2-day schedule, visit yogahealsbelize.com, Belize International Yoga Festival on Facebook, or call 610-0882. Proceeds go to Rhythm of Change Belize outreach programs nationwide.
Minutes after 8 o'clock, WUB Belize Morning Vibes. We call it Football Tuesdays. It's normally morning Tuesdays. Irvin, unfortunately, could not be with us this morning. But we have two optimists. And we're, optimism and courage are to be respected. And then we have an optimist on the line, because I think we have Mark. So, Mark Usher online for guests who are aspiring candidates for leadership of the Football Federation of Belize, Mr. Daniel Fabro and Mr. Frank Sharp. Welcome back, gentlemen. Good morning, Mark.
Morning.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, you're on.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, you're
no
on.
Feedback, right?
No, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
All right, good. Morning, Frank and Daniel. And Sir Mose. Mose, I'm glad you went off, stating that take off the ban that you had on yourself, because that may be my first point I reel up, right? But I'll reel up politely. I will give you until January 1st. You could return to your ban, But January 1st, I can't fail because you correctly said it that the $90 million is a big issue. But in my view, and where my heart is now, I have on record the rail up, the quarrel, they make noise for my country. I have that in my history. Where I am right now in my heart to my country, that's for the youth. And that more than $90 million per year, they go in the drain when it comes to the rank and stink, because that's what I call it. There's a rank and stink in a sports in a Belize. And it create one brain drain, it create one creativity drain where we're really wrong. So we have start burning a fire this January 1. Right now we are still in the find out how we can get this thing done process. So I'm glad you move off there. All right, I got my little list, so I move fast. So one of the things I learned when I get to PUC is that the importance of law and legal framework. Daniel, I talk to now Daniel and Frank. I listen to one of say, I listen to the plans. Both I want to know I support and I say it personally and I say it publicly. But I tell one another whether what is real. The legal framework that governs football will make no plan work. Listen to where I say carefully. Watch how it goes. FFB answerable only to FIFA. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I make any mistake. Some years ago, there was a push by a person in government, I think it was a minister or a group or whatever, to see if they could corral the FFB, bring me under some accountability and responsibility level with respect to the nation.
They were to provide, to comply with the National Sports Act. They were being asked to provide audits, which the various associations are supposed to do. And FFB says that's a breach of their sovereignty and didn't feel like they had to submit themselves to the National Sports Act.
Right, good, perfect. Now, watch where really go on when I work with that now. You have one body we're supposed to be the body that is responsible for build one national team and go out there and say, Belize, they are ready to play. No, they never say FFB team, you know. When for win national team go out there, they're not FFB dependent jersey. They're Belize. Now listen to this. Belize highest body, the government of Belize, have no control over that league body there. We're supposed to put together one 22-man or a 22-woman team and they go represent this nation. No, that is nonsense. Now, make I tell you something. I don't know how that can fix. And the reality is, no matter what plan anybody come up with, because the FFB people who will be in control have that as a recourse. So always pull it from car and say, well, we there in a FIFA, and FIFA say no local body supposed to mess with we want to suit for we need. Then you will always have that problem. So the legal framework is the essence. It's the essence. Now, the way around that is if you have good upstanding leadership who will put the interest of the national team and the national program ahead of anything else. You see what I say? Now, over the years, we have seen that has not been the case. Somebody make a point where they say, I think I want to say, back in the days before money may come, so I think it was you, Frank, Belize football was way up there. And that's true. But now, guess what? Money they are. And I'm telling you something, money could mess up things just as much as how money could build up things. Right? So, make a move on to my next point. You call the word, you said the word a lot, Daniel, football family. But when you really watch it, more is one of the things where they do, right? Because I don't dig into all the 6 sports where they try to deal with as proto. And what I define out is the so-called basketball family, cycling family, football family, volleyball family. I wonder who that are family is. If they're the players or if they're the participants, the actual athletes, that family there, that part of the family totally disengaged. And in the case of football, that family there under huge duress. This is how I know the football family federation, the thing working in football. Why? Well, if you're not side with we, you're not catch national team. If you're not side with we, you can't play for my squad. If you're not side, you understand what I say? So there is no say when it comes to the athletes. Make we look for our next part of the football family. The football family, the friends and supporters of our footballer. That crowd there don't want to be informed. Don't really care to be informed. When you get informed, then you have to do work to create change. And that crowd, they don't really worry about change. They're satisfied that they leave cousin or their brother and they start to play one lead ball at one certain level and that's it. Then the next group of what's supposed to be the football family, the wider community. Because the wider community knows that a nonsense they happen in all levels, they just get disengaged. They just turn away. So my thing is, how no more? This is a way part I don't know. And that's why I gone in at the primary school. Because I say how you could build one real family again and how you could get back a family like when we did in the 60s and in the 70s, where you really have everybody engaged. So for me, you know, that's a big challenge. And I say, make we go down in the base. And the base starts at primary school. Now, the last thing I want to say is Daniel and Frank, when Marvin Median and I even more mentioned in that, you know, what will happen if we're not successful, what will not continue though? Well, in my view, I don't know how much input Frank have with your program, Daniel, with the Rush, right? But in my view, Daniel, you done do more than 20 years of FFB do. What is working right now, and I said it over and over in my social media page, to make all the federations and associations realize that there is a workaround. Notice something was a number of camps, private organizations. Daniel have one, his Rush Academy. You have Pastor Sante with he one up so. Even Jordan have one with him. With the smart group where when they do. And then you have groups in a basketball, you have groups in a volleyball, right? A number of private organizations getting together, and what are they doing? They are doing it the correct way. And they build kids from young, develop them in the sport, and then they export. So what I'm saying right now is develop an exportation of sports talent is a reality. Devin Daly is one example. Now Devin get up and push himself and he get out there. We have past examples. We have Kirk Smith. You have numerous. You got Darren Bovell. We play pro ball for 20-something years, for 18 years, I think, in Mexico. They earn. So what I'm saying is, the rank and stink we exist in a sport, and especially football, the work around right now is for all of we continue build the club process. And you the build talent where one get exported. Your son, Daniel, is abroad, and it's his football skill that got him there. You, because he is your son, you put in the time and effort, and now you're doing it for a lot of other people's sons. So what that they do? That they show the same federation and a bunch of wretches, whether in a different federation and association. I'm afraid to say, because none of them can't do me nothing. I don't need nothing from them. Marky raise their own money when Marky want to do something. They're wrong. Then they kill one nation as dreamers, one nation as superstars, because they sit in those positions of control and they do nothing. How the hell Mr. Fabro could get 6 or 7 picnics in our program abroad for extended period of time with for him money? And you go out for a federation, we'll get 1 point something million, and they can't do. Man, listen to me. In the primary schools, they want to go wrong right now. There is no representation from make I correct myself. Volleyball people, I say they come in. Me not see nobody. At least me not say. I not say they know the do it. Me not see nobody for cycling. Me not see nobody for football. Me not see nobody for basketball. Basketball, where I'm heart and soul. You understand what I say? So you done successful, Daniel, and if Frank not involved with that era there, Frank, that the era where you and your company and everybody else do have control over, could get involved in. Find one program that is developing talent so that it can be exported. To me, those are the important things. Now, going into January, I want to start real up on about the rank and stink. I'm not ready to do it yet. And that's why I say more than I want to you, because we need our media to get out there. And enough is show up nobody, but it's to expose the problems that systematically exist in all the sports in Belize. And telling people, telling man and woman within a control, listen to me, we have to do better. If we don't want to do better, then we don't get out of the way, make we put people there who want to do better. But this cannot continue. You cannot have 5 or 6 people sport and the creative and the amazing abilities of young people at ransom, just for suit for their own personal whatever, whether in a pocket termites and a thief. I'm not afraid to talk when I talk about it because it's wrong. Whether they just got bad mind, whether they never get for their break, so then they make sure, because more, but I tell you something where to find out about sports. You have man and woman where that is sports people will never get for their break. And then they in a control. And then they make sure nobody else pick get one break, brother. Huh? I tell you the things they were to find out though. Bodies who we there out there to try work with the primary schools. And I have official federation, association and councils, people where they fight my program. When they're supposed to, they come to me and say, boy, Mr. Mark, boy, that good will do. Make we work together. Then they fight what we do. But guess what? In September, I go to Jamaica. And I spend the time, the people in detail for how Jamaica development program works. More, the biggest football game in Jamaica that we call Manning Costa Cup. Then in a high school football game. More, the only time big football play, Jamaica upon Saturdays. Saturdays are one big day for sports at Jamaica. In a Belize, we take the picnic out of the damn class, make them go play football, go play basketball. When you tell the man that's wrong, the man they cut up their eye and suck their teeth. Most primary schools don't participate in a ball because then it compromise the picnic in classroom time. That's nonsense. Then we don't check to the officials there when they say, oh well, only that time ain't got, that don't have nothing to do with you. Give your plane day off on Friday and run the tournament on Saturday. Make them put back the 1 day or whatever. We cannot continue with the nonsense. So then in my vibe.
Respect.
All right.
There's a lot respect to that. Glenn, give me a minute because we have to just get our guests if they have anything to put to what Mark says. So give me a minute for that, Glenn. Gentlemen.
Let me just address a couple points with Mark. With the play on Saturday, that's the main thing. The truth is, that is a good idea, but we have very limited fields here in Belize. For the last 3-4 months, we don't even have any field on the north side because the MCC was closed down and the Marion Jones was closed down. So even the Mundialito had to close down for 2 to 3 weeks. We need a lot more fields in Belize City. We need a lot more fields in Belize country. And possibly then we could do that where we could just have all the primary school games on Saturdays. But right now, the fields are not available on Saturday. There's CYDP tournament going on. There are the Mundialito tournament going on. So the primary schools wouldn't be able to get the fields.
No, his comments about it, I played the Costa Cup in high school in Jamaica, and it's as competitive as anything that is out there. It's just like professional leagues. We played Wednesdays and Saturdays. And I'm telling you, at those games, 3,000-4,000 people to a high school game. Very competitive. A lot of those guys already were, a lot of the players that we were playing against were already on the Jamaica national selection. So the quality of play is extremely high. And we need to be able to do that. We need to take our 6-year-olds and bring them to the 8 and 10 and 12. And by the time they get to high school, we should have a serious high school tournament going on. That's something that you finish in one weekend. It needs to be over an extended period of time. What's happening to us right now, football is only played for, we ran this program, and we completed the program, but there has to be continuity. It has to keep going on and on and on and on. we need to set a national calendar. Right now we found out that each association runs their calendar at their own time. So you're doing it, if you're Orange Walk, you're doing it this month, maybe the other association will start 2 months later. We need to have a national calendar set a year in advance, that all the calendars are running simultaneously.
Let's take a couple calls, then we go to break. WB, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Fabro and Mr. Sharp. This is Sandra Coy. A couple questions. First of all, what was the player pool size from which the national team was taking for the Gold Cup? That's number one. Number two, what is the training time and the training cost to take a young person up to professional, the commencement of professional playing? And then my two observations are, you need to be training the existing players, the people who are semi-pro or whatever. They need to keep training. But their problem is, and our national problem is, that we don't want to play offensive. We keep playing a defensive game like Honduras. This is a problem. And in my opinion, you need remedial education, remedial training for that. So the adults need remedial training, and the young ones need the training that is going to bring them up to the highest level of performance, in order that when they move into professional play, you know, they can then go on to becoming the members of a first-class national team. But the cost of the training is the critical thing. And how much of that money, when you give me the cost, then you can then make the comparison of the amount that they get, the seed money that they get from FIFA would be the seed money, because that's not the only money that will be needed. But then your campaign can be to take hold of that money, because you see, the money is the problem, you know. The money is the problem. All these people would not even want to be part of football if the money wasn't there. But the money is there, and they want that money. But we want that money.
Okay, we lost Ms. Coy, but gentlemen.
One thing I wanted to stress, and she was asking those questions, and most of the questions are really directed to somebody who has been at the Football Federation at Belize and knows that information. Fortunately or unfortunately.
But you've worked with the young. You've worked with the young. You've worked with your own son. You know what it is to the hours that's required. Yeah.
Right. I would say, fortunately or unfortunately, Frank and I are the only two of the 8 candidates who have never been at the Football Federation in any capacity. We have worked with the young. We know the national team program as how it exists right now, as most other programs run under the FFB or the other organization need a serious review and a serious change. If you read it, the FIFA monies really are sent for football development. They're not sent for national team development of anyone, the A, the B, the girls or whatever. But what has happened is the limited FIFA money, the 30% change which is left,
from the
is used for that, and so there's always that scramble because the federation truthfully cannot secure local funding or international funding because there's a lack of credibility at the highest level of the federation. So really that local funding and that international funding is really for national team running and national team development. I have seen the cost, and I can tell you that if things are run very tightly, it can be significantly less. We took 16 kids, but the contingent with coaches and support staff, it was 25 of us when we went up to Colorado Springs. And we, the organization there did contribute the lodging and the transportation within Colorado, but we did all of that with like $35,000, which you can imagine the bulk was the airline tickets. And despite what Mark said, it is not really my money which are being used, but people who trust my my judgment with regards to finances who helped. 85% of that budget came from abroad, from a Belizean-owned company from New York City, headed by Wilfred Smith. He was the one who basically paid for that Colorado Springs because we got limited funding locally, and that is something which is really hurting football at all levels. The district association can't raise the funds to do their programs. The semi-pro teams can't get any sponsorship to run their programs, and all around it is a problem, and I think a lot of it stems from lack of credibility at the highest level of the Football Federation. But definitely, to answer Ms. Coy, I believe the funding can be, you can do the same thing with probably 50% of what I've seen spent on it. I understand the training for one recent program was like 200,000 by the time they trained and left, and there are ways we can find to cut those costs. Yes, it is significant, but it can be done for much less.
Glenn, online, and then we go to break. When we come back from break, we get your closing statements this morning, because time is just not enough. And then our callers want to express themselves as well. Go ahead. Good morning again, Glenn.
Thanks, boys. Good morning again. I just want to make 3 quick points. The first, Marvin Utlick, in calling in, made the claim that the semi-pro organization spends more than the amateur organization or what it gets from FIFA. I'm not sure which he meant. I am not gainsaying Marvin's claim. I'm just saying that it points to a problem we have. The problem is that there is no transparency and no accountability in any of the processes. At this point, when you look at the semi-pro structure, there is no accounting for what's being spent, what's being garnered, or how much revenue is being generated by whom. You can't operate any business in that way. Sometimes I think not even the owners understand what it is they're spending, how much it is they're spending, on what, and what it is they're getting back. When I listen to them, what I hear is, to me, some idealistic expectations, but I don't hear any realistic forecast. When Marcos had touched on a point, the FFB, through its years of operation, the people at the leadership have always hid behind the FFB statutes and claim that the FFB statutes demand that the FFB not be autonomous, but be independent of the government of this country. That is totally ridiculous. In the past, we have heard people leading the FFB using the statutes to make all kinds of claims to hide what they do from public scrutiny. Danny and Frank sitting on your program this morning right now is a step forward, because before this, I've heard over and over again people saying, oh, you can't go publicly campaign, you can't go publicly campaign. That is not true. The FFB statute does not prohibit anybody from participating with the FFB or with the local association on the matter of national teams or anything like that. It is an excuse that the people who want to stay in control use each and every time out. I give Marvin credit for this. I've heard him say before on this radio station and on other programs that what we need is a mature conversation. And that is very, very true. In this matter, and in nearly all matters concerning our social and political economy, we have to learn how to talk with each other. And we have to learn how to separate what are myths, basically lies and exaggeration, from what is really fact and what is there as fact. Thanks.
Respect. We go to break, we come back, we get final thoughts from our guests.
Your style, your taste, your look. As individual as you are. Find the furniture piece that's right for you, only at Courts. Choose from our wide selection of fresh new designs, luxurious comfort, and contemporary elegance. Best of all, it's more affordable than you think. So create the room that's all about you. Come into Quartz today, where furniture is fashionable. Quartz, bringing value home.
It's not just a job, it is mentoring.
It's leading.
It's showing.
It's building.
It's inspiring.
It's caring.
It's working.
And you're going to drop that into your briefcase. Teaching is not just a job, it's everything.
Apply today. For more information, including scholarship opportunities, visit teachbelize.org.
Calico Jacks is a one-stop full-service Belizean owned and operated resort located in El Progreso, Cayo, offering delicious food, lovely accommodations, and exciting tours, including 4 zipline tour options in over 3,000 feet of zip lining, rappelling, a cable walk, 2 Mayan ceremonial caves, pool, and Belize's only jungle swing. Rediscover fun and adventure in El Progreso, Cayo that you are unlikely to forget. Visit our website, Facebook page, and TripAdvisor for photos. Call us at 832-2478 or email reservations@calicojacksvillage.com for additional information or to make a reservation.
Wanna buy certain TV or stereos? Free spring mattresses? Wanna buy the Denver bed frame? Free Judge Woman Grill? Wanna buy certain fridges? And free TV? Wanna buy certain sofa sets? Plus 10% off all Regency mattresses and pay no deposit. And even more, you'll get one chance to win $500 in groceries. One winner for each store. So hurry, corner Choppy Gas, where we always give you more.
Make effortless memories this season with the Christmas loan from St. John's Credit Union Limited. For more information or to book appointments, call or visit any of our 3 branches. St. John's Credit Union Limited. Safe saving, smart borrowing. Open Saturdays for loan appointments. Just call in for more information.
Live from the Battlefield Park on Creme Television and simulcasted on Creme Radio. It's Creme Christmas, starting December 11th to the 17th. Weeknights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hosted by Rojani Perriott and Anthony the Groove Master. Live entertainment by Belize's best. Enough giveaways and surprises for the entire family. Be a part of our live audiences to win fabulous prizes. Nightly complimentary mixed drinks for the adults from Travelers Bar. Creme Christmas, December 11th to the 17th from the Battlefield Park.
Attention all Digicel prepaid customers. Digicel now has a new way for you to access all the prepaid services that you love. Our new prepaid menu is now your one-stop shop for everything prepaid. Checking your account balances, purchasing your favorite data plan, text bundles, and more just got easier. Accessing this new menu is quick and easy. Just dial *100#. A menu will pop right up on your phone with a list of all the available options. And you can still dial *100 for voice instructions or send a text using our shortcode options. Listen, all options are super easy. Just choose which one works best for you. Cause being prepaid is just that simple. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat to learn more about our new prepaid menu or visit our website at digicel.bz/menu. Go beyond, only with Digicel.
The bigger, better network. Digicel.
All right, Belize, we get final words from our guests. We're almost out of time. We got the morning stew coming up on Creme Radio, so we've got to get out the house. We've been joined. I started out by saying this conversation will be a combination of sour tamarind and lemon mixed together. This is a conversation we can't stop because indeed I think it is the restraining order is important for survival, self-preservation. That's the word I look for. But then we end up gear up on something where it's too important, too valuable. So the conversation was important and we had to do it and we have to do more. I totally agree. Gentlemen, your closing thoughts.
Mose, I just want to go back to 2 points raised earlier by a caller. One, the committee, the statutes committee. We all recognize the statutes need to be revamped, but additional to that, in 2016, FIFA and all FIFA members had agreed, and Belize is mandated also that by April 2018, they must review and approve their new statutes to come in line with FIFA statutes. A statutes review committee must be put in place almost immediately. I think that would be the priority of any leadership coming in to the FFB. So that is there. We read our statutes, so when people would come with the BS and say that you can't campaign publicly, we challenge them because they say these things to people who do not read. And so we know the statutes is a priority. There are a lot of loopholes and a lot of gray areas that need to be closed. And the next committee which needs to be put in place is the ethics committee. I think there was an effort recently to put it in place, but what has stalled it is that you have to first put in place an ethics code, and that did not exist either. I think there is a third committee that I don't know if it's in place. I haven't seen any evidence of it. Is the appeals committee for the Football Federation. But the ethics committee, I think, is priority. I think previous presidents are in no hurry to have put in the ethics committee, because an ethics committee would have the power to remove a president also. And so obviously for any president that is doing wrongdoing, that is a no-no. For us, I have no problem immediately putting in place an ethics committee, and the ethics committee will not be chosen by myself or by Frank or even by the executive committee. Those people would have to be reputable and trustworthy people that would be recommended by probably the 20 members of the Family General Assembly and by others even from outside. And then within the General Assembly, then we would choose the 5 people who would comprise each of those committees. It can no longer be where the president would appoint people who he knows will be favorable to him. These must be people who are completely independent, and they are there to do their job. And so long as you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about with regards to the ethics committee. Just something also to mention with regards to what Mark Usher had said with the National Sports Council and the fight between the truth is, the FFB is a member of FIFA, but the FFB, I've always said, and the members of the FFB are Belizean citizens, and so ultimately they fall under Belizean law. And if by that the FFB falls under the National Sports Council Act, I don't see any problem with them complying with the rules and regulation with the act if you have nothing to hide. I know that fight came up 15 years ago when Dr. Clara Coyar was there, and Dr. Chimilio was at the head of the FFB, and I was on that committee that was trying to resolve that, and from then that issue came up. But those issues only come up if you have things to hide. Right. If you are upright and trustworthy, you have nothing to worry about with regards to those rules. And I say to the Belizean people, Frank and I represent a new way of thinking, a new direction that we can take football in Belize. And listen, even if it's not successful at football, I hope it encourages other good people throughout this country to get involved. Get involved in your sport. Do not allow it to be hijacked by a few people. The sports belong to the people, and the people must have control of the sports.
I'm out of time.
I'll be quick. I know you need to run. Thank you for lifting your restraining order on football, because I think, like we've all agreed here, it's a seriously important topic to be discussed, and the discussion needs to continue. We ask those that are voting, look for the change. We need to make the change. We want to help us to help you.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen. We take a final break, come back and wrap.
Thank you.
Over the years, the Belize Healthcare Partners Limited has worked diligently and invested heavily to bring quality healthcare to all our patients. Our highly qualified physicians and hospital staff provide quality care to every person that comes to our institution. Our goal is to exceed your expectations by providing you with outstanding healthcare services at all times. At the Belize Healthcare Partners Limited, we value your care. Visit us today, corner Chancellor Avenue and Blue Marlin Boulevard, or call us at 223-7870 or 223-7873. Belize Healthcare Partners Limited, your leader in healthcare.
It's Brother Sabet's 34th anniversary, and we're celebrating our service to our awesome customers with huge deals and savings all month long. Deals like 15% off all wall and floor tiles, indoor and outdoor, plus 30% off clearance stock. $10 Cemix tin set and $15 Cemix grout. 15% off Penta and domestic decorative pins. 20% off Stanley power tools. $14 and $16 hardboard. 30 to 40% off select tri-circuit padlocks. 30% off all Westinghouse light fixtures. 20 to 30% off select LED light fixtures and bulbs. 30% off Quickset, Geo, and lane bed and bat door locks. Plus, loads of new stuff on clearance. Just ask. So come celebrate with us all month long. Brother Sabet is proud to be celebrating 34 beautiful years of service to our customers and community, and we look forward to serving you for many more to come.
I go on the internet to play my computer games. When I grow up, I would like to be a doctor just like Doc McStuffins.
Doc is in.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher, and when I go on the internet, I want to learn how to make slime. I like slime. I go on the internet to watch cartoons to see the good guys win. I want to be the next prime minister. I want to be a fisherman. I like dancing. I go on the YouTube to see a lot of people dancing. I'm going to be a dance teacher. Dr. Brianna for you. I am a next gen kid. I'm teacher Aislinn and I'm a next gen kid. I am dance instructor Soraya. I'm a next gen kid. I'm a next gen kid. I'm Prime Minister Azela and I'm a next gen kid. We are next gen Prime!
Live from the Battlefield Park on Creme Television and simulcasted on Creme Radio. It's Creme Christmas, starting December 11th to the 17th. Weeknights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hosted by Rajani Perriott and Anthony the Groove Master. Live entertainment by Belize's best. Enough giveaways and surprises for the entire family. Be a part of our live audiences to win fabulous prizes. Nightly complimentary mixed drinks for the adults from Travelers Bar. Creme Christmas, December 11th to the 17th from the Battlefield Park.
We got to thank the crew, JCR Zoo at Creme Radio, upstairs Mr. Cliff Lewis, Christopher Flowers, the rest. Have a great Tuesday with health and strength. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 6:30 for another edition of the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Belizeans, as always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Wake up, Belize. Another morning sun is shining. Wake up, Belize. Another morning.